been a long time, huh? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, 4 years, a little bit more.
Maybe. When did you go to Poland? Which
2017,
17?
around around this time.
Right. And you've changed a lot. Probably you lost some weight also, is it?
I don't think so. I lost weight. I'm assuming I gained weight actually.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So Shailesh, let's start. First of all, introduce yourself. Means your name, your background, and what you are doing currently there. Everything.
I'm Shailesh Kumar, right?
Shailesh,
I'm
just a second.
studying.
Just a second. Just a second. Can you
Yeah,
just come slightly closer to the camera because yeah, it's
is it
better.
be is it better now?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Shailesh Kumar. I study computer science over here at Warsaw University of Technology. We also call it Politechnika Warszawa. I'm studying computer science over here. I'm almost finished. I would have finished this semester, but I decided to take a break after the COVID pandemic, and I was juggling between two jobs. So I just decided to, take a break.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Tell
I
me. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Please go
please
on.
go on. I know. I'm just saying that I came over here in 2017. It's been almost 4 years. It will become 4 years in like 5-7 days.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we a lot of new stuff, a lot of new experiences.
Okay. And tell me about the background you come from, your family and other stuff back in India.
hmm Well, my father is in army, right? And before that, like in our home, we always wanted to study a little bit more, right? Because that's one of those things that can make you a little bit better, a little bit more successful. So I always enjoyed reading books. I've always enjoyed studying, basically. Well, not like book studying, mostly just for my casual purpose studying.
Mhm.
And so I was a decent kid in school, I would say. And so my father decided to let me go to Kota for IIT preparation because that was the big thing to do, right? And I studied there for a year, for almost like a year and a half, and I failed miserably for the IIT test. Actually, it was, I mean, yeah. So it was not a very fun time to be around that time. Like, but I decided, you know what, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to study a little bit more, then maybe there's a better way for me to push myself, right? And I remember seeing your ad somewhere for Aston Consultancy. So I decided to go and have a look. And I don't I think I came with my father with you.
Yeah,
So
right.
it was so the way it came was I went back to my father's place, right? And I stayed there for a month. I was sick. I had chicken pox during this time. And during this time, I was just making stuff up. I was making sure that I would be able to do something. I was trying to plan myself ahead of it. And then I decided, okay, so I saw your poster once in Kota, right? I
Mhm.
came back. And this time when I came back with my father, I said, I already know a person who's going to be able to help me, right? And so we went with you, like the first
Okay.
time I met
So
you.
I remember when you came to us and when you did this IELTS preparation also, after that, you were not certain about the country which you wanted to, go for. And earlier you were planning to go to the US. You even applied to
Mhm.
some universities there. You got the acceptance even. Then how did this Poland thing happen to you? Why did you choose Poland over the USA? What were the major reasons behind that?
Well, money, obviously. Money was one of the main reasons that I could have. Because basically I did not want to do my bachelor's and then be in a crippling debt. And the debt will not be small. It will not be, let's say, like a few $1,000s. It will be in tens of $1,000s and sometimes hundreds, right? So I decided to apply to US universities because they were apparently one of the best, right? Because I was still looking for some sort of like matching up with IITs kind of stuff,
Mhm.
right? So I applied to like Princeton and I don't remember. I don't think I applied to Harvard, but I remember I applied to Cornell University as well. And so I wanted to apply there just to know that maybe I stand a chance over there, right? And I did not go there because I did not receive any sort of scholarship. There was no like I did receive one scholarship for like 50%, but even then it came across like I think $96,000 for 4 or 5 years, right? I don't have that kind of money, and I'm not willing to take that kind of loan, like just as
Mhm.
I'm starting out.
Mhm.
So we ditched the US as a plan. That was a bit, again, a very big blow because I was like, okay, I would go over there. Then I wanted to maybe go to UK, and I remember I got accepted in UK University as well.
Mhm.
But then I really started to look at the monthly expenses, and I was like, okay, that's more than my father's salary every single month. How, like, maybe if we really tried, we could maybe do it, and without even loans, maybe, because but that would mean wiping out almost all of the savings, right? And again, that's not something I wanted. And so Poland came up, and Polytechnic Warsaw came up, and I was like, okay, maybe let's have a look. And then it was still a little bit more expensive, but it was very, very easy. When compared to US and UK, it was practically like the cheapest place you could find, right? And it was still part of EU, so I wanted to be like, okay, so it is something good. I hadn't heard much about Poland before that though, so it was more of a gamble. And I decided, well, one way or another, I want to go and maybe experience a bit more. So I decided to choose Poland, kind of like that.
Okay, 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 great, great, great. So I remember that whenever students, come to Kota for their IIT preparation, and when they tell their parents that no, probably I don't want to go to IIT, or I may not be good for IIT, or I may not get selected in IIT, and I want to choose this plan B, which is to move to a foreign country. So what was your parents' reaction on that?
Hmm. Well, I guess I'm pretty lucky. My parents were fully in support with me most of the time. Also, I guess like a little bit of anger or maybe a disappointment that was me not being able to crack the IIT code was up in flames because I got sick, like very sick during this time, and so I never really got the rundown from my family like, hey, you betrayed our expectations and stuff. My father only asked me like, okay, so you did this, what do you want? Do you want to repeat, like, because I could have a chance to repeat, or do you want to do something else? Do you already have some plans?
Mhm.
And so I sat down. I took a week, I think, and then I went to my father and say like, okay, I'm going to study abroad. During that time, yeah, it was US or UK, and I was hyping it up in front of my parents, like, okay, you won't have to pay too much, right? I will work over there and do this and do that. And in the end, he was like, okay, you know what? Do you know where I can go? And I was like, oh, yeah, I know. There's in Kota. So we were in like Ganganagar, right? Sri Ganganagar, which is, I guess, a huge, well, maybe not a huge city, but a big city nonetheless. And they definitely have some consultancy services. But I was just like, okay, you know what? I know like this place, and we're going there. And so he was like, okay, you know what? Let's go there. And we went there, kind of like that.
Okay, 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 okay. So when finally you reached Poland, in this Warsaw University of Technology. So once you reached there, what was that reaction like? Like, what was the scenario there? Like, were you happy or upset, confused? What was your reaction that time?
Hmm. Well, now you are like getting a little bit nostalgic over here, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
we are
let's see.
definitely going back in 2017 now.
Yeah, that's okay. So I remember like after I guess I left my parents there, right? I was never like very sad. Even before that, I had stayed in a hostel for 2 years, right? So I was pretty much okay being independent. My parents were trusting enough that I was not being going to do something stupid with me, myself, right? And so I came to Poland in February, and I remember it was so damn cold. It was 25 degrees Celsius. I think right now it's -8, so not that bad. But something similar during that time. I remember I tried to. Well, it's snowing right now actually, so it's not. I'm used to it, I guess.
Mhm.
And it was so damn cold. I remember like trying to go outside a little bit, and my hand froze, and my phone wasn't working anymore because like it was not recognizing the touch. I remember that so vividly. So I had to like run back inside the airport to get myself an Uber and everything, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, we I got like a really nice friend, a mentor over here, who helped me get inside a university dormitory. and he was also able to set me up for like a mobile phone SIM and basic opening of bank account and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that was very helpful for the first day. And yeah, after that, it was pretty much me alone in a country where they didn't speak Polish. I mean English. Right now, it's getting better in Warsaw at least, but before that, like in 2017, like not many people spoke English. And I remember like I was very adventurous. I was like, okay, I'll go outside. And it was still cold, and I wanted to see where these trams go because trams were a new thing for me. I hadn't been to trams before. So I went there. I went to Centrum, which is like the central area of the city,
Mhm.
and I forgot my way back. And it was again very cold. There was no internet, and I still didn't have my SIM during that time. So it was pretty stressful first day, if I remember correctly.
Uh,
But yes, I pulled through.
Okay, great. Uh, so let's talk about the university a little bit. I mean, the university, the classes there, because see, a lot of students probably want to go to the same country or same university. They might, want to know that how's it like to be in that university and how's it be like to be in those classes. Okay, so please
Mhm.
tell me about something about that.
So, see, the university experience was very new for me. So, I'm not sure how it is in India. Okay, I haven't studied in university in India, but over here it's very, very independent. So, basically, you have a bunch of classes or subjects which you can choose after the first semester. Actually,
Mhm,
you can choose what you want. You can choose what you study. You can
mhm,
choose to go to classes and sometimes not. Some things are compulsory. Most of the things are not. Right. So there's a very different way of how people sometimes test themselves, right? So a lot of people will have some sort of their own passion where they will be trying to make something new, something exciting, and they will get some help from their professors. And some other guys will just be coasting along, just making sure that they pass, right? And it's a combination of different things. I would still say I recommend it to everyone, but I would advise them to have like some sort of self-discipline, right? If they are one of those guys who don't work unless their teachers are going to say something, then it's probably not a very good idea for doing something like this. From what I know, most of the universities are like this in the whole of Europe,
mhm.
so maybe that would help.
And what about
The
the
second thing that I would, I'm sorry, what?
accommodation there?
So the accommodation is so usually you would get some sort of dormitories, right? You would these are like we are called domi studentski, where the students will be staying in homes, right? It's usually three people in one room or two people in one room, and a shared bathroom and a kitchen with another room, right? And some of the dormitories are good, some of them are bad, all of them are very small, all of them require a lot of patience with other people, a lot of cleanliness, obviously as well. Hostels, if you have lived in hostels, it's kind of not very different, right?
Mhm.
You have to make sure that you know how to cook. If you don't know that, you need to make sure that you find a way to make sure you sustain yourself because the hostel will not be providing the food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, how much is the total tuition fees which you're paying there, and how much can be the living cost there for a student?
Hmm. So, 2,000 euros every semester.
Mm,
That is the fees right now for bachelors. If I'm not wrong, it's 2,500 euros per semester for masters,
mm,
right? And I'm talking about non-EU students. For EU students, it's significantly cheaper. The second thing for living prices, they have increased somewhat, I guess, but still like 1,500 to 2,000 zlotys, which is around 30,000 to 40,000 are more or less comfortable to live in, right? If you really try to, you can obviously go a lot less. You can obviously try to be less than, let's say, 20K INR. But if you go for a modicum of living, some standard of living, maybe even eat out sometime a little bit,
mhm.
and that would cost around 30, 35, 40K INR every month.
Okay. So the students who go to any Schengen country, okay, they get a chance to travel those other 26 countries also. So have you traveled, any specific country in that Schengen area?
Yes, I think I went to Sweden last year, I think.
Mhm.
It was more of just a thing with my friends, and we just decided, okay, Sweden, the tickets are pretty cheap, and let's just go there.
Mhm.
So just a warning: the tickets are very cheap, but the everything else is very expensive. And just so you guys know,
Mhm.
yeah. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to. I was planning on going last year, but pandemic struck, and a lot of things that I was planning to kind of derailed from there. We are planning again for some sort of trip to Spain and France. We'll see how that goes if the pandemic gets a little bit better.
Okay, 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 okay. So, tell me about the student discounts there. Like, do they get some sort of discounts?
Oh yes, so there's like 50% discount for travel purposes, right? So for
50,
example, if
5
you
G.
go on 50, yes,
Okay.
50% discount for trams, so, bus tickets, stuff like that. And sometimes there's like 10 to 15% discounts on some restaurants. So some restaurants do that, some restaurants don't do that. So some of the chain restaurants, for example, Dominium, it's a pizza chain. They
Mm,
have it, but it's not very much. I think it's like 10 to 15%. Still, like not nothing to be scoffed at, but again, nothing that really matters in the end too much. The biggest benefit of being a student is like being in an ability to stay in a dormitory, right?
okay.
So that is like one of the, and that's very cheap compared to everything else. So
Mm,
yeah.
mm. Okay. And again, like a lot of students who go to a country, I mean, to study, they prefer doing some type of part-time job. So, are you also doing any part-time job there? Tell me about.
Yes, I'm actually doing a full-time job. I have been doing it for now 2, 3 years almost, right? Like I changed a few jobs in between, but yes. So, being a student in Poland, at least, you are allowed to have your job. It can be part-time, it can be full-time. If you want to do more, you can do more. If you want to do less, you can do less. So this is one of the benefits, a very big benefit, I would say. The Poland as a country, in unemployment rates are not very big, so the opportunities are not very hard to come by. You just need to make sure that you keep on applying, right? Keep on trying to do with your skill set.
Mhm.
Uh, I would suggest if you have some sort of engineering background, specifically computer science, then over here it's pretty nice, easy to get the jobs, easy to get opportunities. I get mails every day, every week mostly. So yeah.
Okay. And if I may ask, like, how much is the pay over there?
So I think the minimum payments recently got increased to 2,400 zloty, which is around 50,000 INR. So it doesn't matter what you're doing.
A month.
Yeah, a month, right? But I mean, it sounds a lot, but again, because the living expenses are like 30, 35K
Mm,
easy way,
mm,
so you are going to be saving like maybe 10K at most.
mm.
So basically, as long as you do a job which is legal, right? As long as you sign contracts and stuff, then you're sure that you're going to make at least that much, right? If you have some sort of experience before that, for example, in restaurants, it can go a little bit higher, it can go a little bit less, right? The average is usually people take it like 3.5 to 4K,
Mhm.
right? Maybe a little bit more, which would be around, I think, 70 to 80K in INR. So
Okay.
that's what it is. You
Mhm.
can actually go a lot above if you are in like specific places, for example, in computer science, or if in something else, then you can go and stretch it up to even 20K Polish zloty per month, which is I'm not really sure, 4 lakh INR per month, something along those lines.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So roughly, if I ask you, how much, do you, I would say, invest every year, including your living cost and tuition fees? How much is the cost?
So 4,000 euros simply for the fees, right? And we can take around. So is it mine or is it like for a
Yours,
student?
yours, yours, because you are in that university. So I'm asking you.
Yeah, but my expenses have recently piled up a lot. So
No,
I would not say
like
that's.
every student who's probably studying in the same university, how much is the total cost, including tuition fees plus living costs, so that the other students can get the idea?
Hmm. Well, so I would assume if so, I will be taking 2K zloty per month as a normal expense. This is again, as I said, upon the standard. It's not the lowest that you can go, but this is somewhere you would be comfortable in, especially if you already live in dormitory, then maybe even less of that. And when you multiply it by 12, that's like 24K just for that. Divide by 4, that's like 6,000 euros. And then you add 2,000 euros per semester. That makes it like 10,000 euros per year. That's the usual like in 1 year.
10,000 euros a year,
Yes, like
including fees plus
that
cost and everything.
and everything. Yes,
Okay.
along with, as I said, yeah, basic
Okay.
expenses and a
Okay.
little bit better
Okay.
even.
Okay. All right. So, at last, what would you suggest to the students who want to come to this university, or probably, they want to go to some other university in the same country in Poland? What would you like? What would be that one suggestion to those students?
Well, I would. So okay, so the one thing I would suggest is do not come if it's not engineering.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of my friends, yeah, it's a big thing over here actually. So a lot of my friends came over here for tourism and some sort of small stuff that I actually don't buy, some environmental conservation and stuff. So the first thing that you need to know is like in Poland, everyone over here is going to speak Polish. So except in industries where English is a norm, so like computer science or maybe pilot or air hostess stuff like that, unless until and that, other than that, it's going to be hard for you to find a job. You can find a job which is going to be able to like let you survive over here, obviously if you try like maybe go to a restaurant to work as a waiter or waitress or maybe in the background, sure, definitely, but it's not something that you can easily advance your career in unless you also try and make sure you speak very well Polish.
Mm.
That is the one thing that is what I would suggest, like seriously. A lot of my friends like over here it went a little bit bad for them, now they are trying to shift to a different country, stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Now, last but not the least, and I don't know whether probably it would be hard for you to remember, but how was your experience with us, with Aston Education Consultancy? How was your experience?
well, well, it's been a long long time actually, but like yeah, it was very nice. I remember we had some really nice conversations, like where we were trying to go, where we were trying not to go, what you were trying to do and help us. Obviously the dates were like it took time, so it would like take 15 days to reply, but I was excited, I was nervous, and I wanted to ask you for details like every second day, every third day. So it was a balance, trying to make sure that you reply when it's needed, but also making sure that you're not overly annoying. And yes, so I'm sorry if I was a bit annoying, but
No,
yes.
it's not
Uh,
really.
yeah, other than that, I would say it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed the English classes during this time. It was very fun to live in Kota when I was not preparing for IIT. Like that's like I'm always going to remember. So yeah.
Okay. Great. So, thank you, Shailesh, for your time. I know that you've been quite busy lately, but thank you very much. And
Yes, I hope so too. Thank you. Good luck to you and your consultancy services. Say hi to Vishal sir from me. Okay, and take care.
all right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.